Hello and welcome into the example problem video for lesson 9 for Precalculus 2. In this video, we're going to look at some examples of simplifying some trig expressions. So we're not really going to deal with proof. Proof works the same way as simplify. The only difference is it gives you what the answer should be at the end. And that's why I really don't like the proofs too much, because people end up, you've probably heard the expression, if you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with BS. That's what people do. They get stuck, and then rather than doing the correct algebra to figure out the problem, they're just like, oh, the answer should be cosine. So let me just say cosine is equal to cosine. So I really don't give you guys any proof problems. They're always going to be the type of like simplify, like we're going to look at here. So let us go to the document camera. So we want to simplify these. The first one is cotangent of theta times secant of theta. So we look at our sheet, right? We have three different types. What type is this? Well, this is the first type. One term with not all sine and cosine. So we need to convert these to all sine and cosine. So cotangent is what? Cotangent is cosine over sine. So it's cosine of theta over sine of theta. And then secant, excuse me, is what? That's 1 over cosine. So now I have this product of two fractions. So I can actually cancel the cosine in the numerator here with the cosine in the numerator, the denominator of the second one. So I get what? 1 over sine. And what is 1 over sine? Well, that's just cosecant. So cotangent of theta times secant of theta is the same thing as cosecant of theta. What if I have 2 cosine of x, secant of x, all over cotangent of x? All right, well, again, one term, not all sine and cosine. So I have 2 cosine of x times secant is 1 over cosine of x. And then cotangent is cosine of x divided by sine of x. So we can see here, these guys are what? Reciprocals of each other. And so anytime I have cosine times secant, they're going to cancel out and give me 1. Tangent times cotangent, going to give me 1. Sine times cosecant, going to give me 1. So in this case, these two cancel out. So I end up with 2 over cosine of x over sine of x. And now I have what? This is like 2 over 1. So I have a fraction divided by a fraction. So it's keep, change it to multiplication, and multiply by the reciprocal, or flip it, keep, change, flip. Well, sine over cosine is what? This is tangent. So I have 2 times tangent of x. So that's what that guy would simplify to. And you can see the first one was what? We changed it, canceled, done. This one, converted everything, simplified, flipped it, done. So you can see these within probably 3 or 4 steps are done. And so use that to your benefit. Like if you are doing a simplified problem on the homework or on your test, and you're taking like 6, 7, 8 steps, you've messed something up. Because you guys aren't going to have any proofs that are going to take 6 or 7 or 8 steps. So if you get that far into it, I would kind of go back and maybe restart and be careful with the algebra. All right, what if we have cosine of theta over sine of theta minus cosecant of theta. Well, again, not all sine and cosine. So cotangent is cosine of theta over sine of theta. And sine of theta minus cosecant is what? 1 over sine of theta. So this one's a little trickier to solve. It is a compound fraction, so we have two ways we could solve this. We have the numerator, we could combine the denominator and then keep, change, flip. The other thing we can do is what? Multiply everything by the LCD, which in this case is sine of theta. So when I do that in the top here, the signs cancel out, so I get cosine of theta. Down here, I have sine of theta times sine of theta. Let me move that up for you. Hold on just a second. You'll be able to see this. There we go. So I have sine of theta times sine of theta, which is sine squared of theta. And then sine cancels out, so minus 1. Now be careful here. Okay, so we've converted, we've simplified. Now we have to start asking the questions. Can I substitute? Can I factor? Can I cancel? So can I substitute anything here? And you're like, oh, I see it. It's the Holy Grail. Not exactly, right? The Holy Grail is what? 1 minus sine squared is cosine squared. That's not what I have here. I don't have 1 minus sine squared. I have sine squared minus 1, meaning what? If I multiply this whole thing by negative 1, I would get plus sine squared minus 1 is negative cosine squared of theta. So don't get in such a hurry to complete these that you get tricked by what something looks like. Yes, it looks like the Holy Grail, but it's not exactly the Holy Grail. It's the opposite. So really this bottom, I can substitute, but I don't substitute cosine. I have to substitute minus cosine squared of theta. So I get cosine of theta over minus cosine squared. Now, one of these cosines cancels with one of these in the bottom. This is like cosine times cosine, remember? So I get what? 1 over negative cosine of theta. So the negative stays and can go in front. 1 over cosine is secant. So the answer to this one would be negative secant of theta. So that's 3 there that all have a little different variation. And now the fourth one we're going to look at is 2 over 1 minus sine of alpha plus 2 over 1 plus sine of alpha. So you can see the value we have, whether it's theta or x or alpha or beta or whatever, doesn't really matter. That's not going to affect the problem at all. We still process it the same way. So this one is what type of problem? Well, I look at my sheet. It's type 3, 2 different terms. So we have to do what? We have to combine this. And so we can do this again with sort of our fraction shortcut, which is multiply these two, and then multiply the bottom two. So if I do that, if I go this way first, I always have to go this way. It's 2 times 1 plus sine of x plus 2 times 1 minus sine of, alpha, not x, alpha, all over, and then multiply these guys. So 1 minus sine of alpha times 1 plus sine of alpha. So when I do this, distribute the top, this is 2 plus 2 sine of alpha plus 2 times or minus 2 sine of alpha. So distribute this 2 to both of these. And then on the bottom, I have to FOIL it. So I have 1 times 1 is 1. The outside and the inside term cancel. Plus sine of x minus sine of x. This is our conjugate. So that's always going to happen. The outside and inside cancel. So then negative sine times positive sine is minus sine squared of alpha. So let's simplify. Well, in the top here, the 2 sine of alpha cancels with minus 2 sine of alpha. So I just have 4. And then down below here, so we're going to ask our question, right? Can I substitute? Can I factor? Can I cancel? Well, I can substitute. 1 minus sine squared is cosine squared of alpha. And so if you want to break this up, if it makes it easier, 4 over 1 times 1 over cosine squared. So 1 over cosine is secant. So 1 over cosine squared is what? Secant squared. And then we have this 4 in front. So this guy would just simplify into 4 secant squared of alpha. And that's it. That's how you process these. Again, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, and you're done. So these shouldn't take you a lot of steps. Once you do a few of these, they're going to kind of all look the same, which is also a good thing, because then the more of these you do, it's like, all right, I'm not afraid of these anymore, because they all basically look like the same problem. So that's it. That is our simplify trig expressions, and come on back and we'll tackle lesson 10.